Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Canadian Farmer. I've just changed the fruit in this wheel. Where today we're going to be seeding up. I'm going to start off with wheat. Oh, but yes, it is wheat. I haven't quite finished the baling yet. I finished the clover field mostly. I'm going to clean it up a bit and let's put it this way, there's over 100 bales in there at the moment, and I'm expecting maybe 10 to 15 more, and I'm expecting to get about the same, possibly about the same out of the alfalfa field. I'm gonna do the rest of the baling off screen because, oh my god, that baler is annoying. I think I need a bigger one, a significantly bigger one. Either that or I need to start just using a forage wagon on those fields if I do them again. So 13 kilometers an hour is as fast as this will go while seeding. It's actually kind of fine. I don't want to be going too fast anyway. I want to have some semblance of control over this thing. And continue on it. It's actually quite a bit later than... it's quite late. It's quite a lot later than I usually record. It's actually coming up on 10 PM here, but I've had mid-dinner. I've had a Chinese. It was quite nice. I had a cup of tea afterwards, and I'm in the mood for recording because I do get in these kind of moods sometimes, quite random times, and I think I can even just do like late night recordings now that I actually have my mic in a decent position. I don't have to shout at my microphone anymore, which is kind of odd, I must admit, because before I was kind of projecting my voice so the microphone would pick it up, whereas now I'm actually kind of talking in almost hushed tones. It's nice, I have to admit. I can record for longer now as well, so I can do actually longer recording sessions. And I think I will do on, well, from time to time, so that I can get further ahead. The only issue is the longer the recording session is, the longer I'm going to be spending rendering, and my computer's not liking rendering at the moment, which is why I'm considering. I say considering, I am like 99% certain I'm getting a new PC later on this year. And I'll be building it myself. When it comes to building it, I will give you guys all of the specs and all of the parts, so that if for whatever reason you want an identical PC to mine, which is going to be it's going to be a bizarre build. I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to look like, it's going to probably look a bit weird, because at the moment I have we've got three things picked out for definite. 16 gig RAM, i7 4790K CPU that runs at 4 gigahertz, so rendering and general computer stuff should be running a lot better, especially seeing as I'll be doubling the RAM. I have 8 at the moment. I'll double that up to 16 so that hopefully Firefox breaks less, and in an ideal world I can switch back to Chrome. And as well as that, I'm going to get, unless Nvidia come out with a new chipset later on this year, I'll probably get the GTX 970, because well, the 970 is better value for money. It's the most powerful graphics card you can get per euro or per dollar. The 980 is better, but on a value for money basis, the 970 is the one you'd be wanting, which is a bit odd to say. You actually want to get the less powerful of the two cards. I'm not mentioning the Titan X, because the Titan X costs about the same amount as the entire PC build I have planned out. if I could afford a Titan X, I would be very, very happy. And if somebody is insanely rich and wants to give me one and gift me one, feel free. I will gladly accept a Titan X because everybody needs 12 gig of VRAM, surely. Like, genuinely, who needs 12 gigabytes of VRAM? That would just run all of the games together at the same time. It might be enough to run GTA 5 at max settings. Actually, I think it is just about enough to run GTA 5 at max settings. I was experimenting around with it, and I think it works out that you need 4 or 5 gigs of VRAM to run it at Ultra on 720p, which is insane. And I have a friend who's a 1440p monitor, and I was like saying to him, you're not gonna get anywhere near max graphics on your graphics card, dude. And he's like, oh no, I'm aiming for high, very high. I didn't have the heart to tell him, just no, that was, no. No. That's it. I'm enjoying GTA 5. I would really prefer if one scene in particular was made optional. I don't think it's appropriate in any game for that sort of scene to be in a game. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there is at one point there is a prolonged and graphic torture scene where you actually have to control, how the torture takes place and what happens. And while I get the Grand Theft Auto is a disconnect from reality and kind of poking fun at it and making political statements, that goes a bit too far. That is just way too far for me. And I know Dare Tebbers has actually uninstalled GTA 5 until such a point that that scene is made optional, whether by mods or by Rockstar. And honestly, I don't blame him. I pushed through it because I've been waiting for this game for 2 years. I'm not gonna let one scene, regardless of how much I abhor what happens in it, how much I disagree with it, I'm not gonna let one scene decide whether or not I'm gonna play the game. I think the game is worse for having that scene as it is part of the storyline, and I don't think it should be. Like, the whole point of that scene, and I'm really not spoiling anything, the whole point of that scene is to show how crazy Trevor is. And that could have been done so many other ways. So many other ways to show how crazy and deluded and just sadistic, I suppose the best word, how sadistic Trevor is, and that scene is how they chose to do it, because he's the one doing the torturing and you're made do it, so you feel terrible. I don't think a game should ever make a player feel genuinely terrible as part of the story, especially when the aim of the scene is to show how bad a character is. Bad idea, Rockstar. Badly played. But other than that, the storyline is actually quite good. It's one of the few games, and there's a reason I don't play games with storylines on here. It's because like 90% of the time I just completely ignore the storyline, go, well, I want the next level, I want to kill stuff and blow stuff up. And yes, that's probably worse than torture or whatever, but I've hired a worker, haven't I? You could argue that just flat out murder is worse than torture or whatever, but there's a bigger disconnect. in games when it comes to that. Especially with Grand Theft Auto, because half the game is just kill this guy. No, kill this guy. Also, I played golf. That was an experience in GTA 5. I played golf with Trevor and it was kind of fun until I pratfalled him into somebody and the cops weren't particularly impressed and we got kicked out of the golf course. That's the thing that happened. So yeah, seeding in Farm Sim. We got 1, 2 and 3 to seed. 1, as you can see, is going to be wheat. 2 is going to be barley. And 3 is going to be oats, for the time being at least. Well, for this little rotation. And we're just going to... Well, I'm going to get field 1 done. I'm going to move on to field 2. And possibly in the next episode start field 3. But I won't do that tonight for me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up the baling tonight for me. And you know, all the off-camera work. Finish off the baling and get the skid steer to move the bales into a better position so that they can all be wrapped up within the space of maybe half an hour or so. Hopefully. Probably not, but I'm going to move all the bales so that they're all together-ish and can be wrapped for silage. Because if all else fails, I'm going to have no shortage of silage. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm going to have silage coming at me ears. So if we get 240,000, I'm going to be taking a rather large trailer, filling it with bales, and bringing it over to the BGA. Does this map now have the... Oh, it doesn't have... That's a shame. I like the maps that have these somewhat dynamic ground textures where it turns... I know how it's done. You just up the number of axes. The ground layers actually have the foliage layers for sown with, you know, sown with grains, sown with potatoes, cultivated and ploughed. You just up the number of axes they have so that you can get somewhat coherent curves. Then you just change the foliage emission shader, I believe it is, and there you go, you're sorted. Now we're going to plant barley here, so let's get started on the barley. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this guy off with hard worker, and I am going to take a skid steer and spin it around a bit and bring it over to the clover field. And what I'm going to do over there is I'm going to start moving the bales so that I can clear up the field a bit. It is an unbelievable mess right now because there's bales just everywhere. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and get them all gathered in one area that has been fully cleared, even if it's like out here in the grass somewhere. I'm gonna try. The game is just not liking me at the moment. I think I've got a few too many mods, but I'm gonna have to go through my mods folder again and start pruning it and curating it a bit more heavily than I have been. Because what I have been doing is I've just been getting rid of the overly buggy mods and overly error-strewn mods, and I don't think that's helping me at all. I think I need to start getting rid of the ones with the minor errors as well. That would include this map. There are some errors with this map that I'm not particularly happy with. So let's Let's get these bales moved. I'm actually going to just pile them up over here. In fact, let's fill up the... yeah, let's fill up the mixing station. Because that is actually a thing that needs to be done. How did you do this? How exactly did you manage to fall off the field? In fact, because I still have Courseplay installed, it's just a bit of a task to get at it. This is field 2. There we go, fertilize and seeding. Field 2. About 2.9 meters. We'll start up here, which is the northwest. Heading south. No headland. Generate the course. And I'm just going to tell you to drive. I have apparently... Stop. Start at the first waypoint because I've accidentally generated the course backwards somehow. But if I get Courseplay to do this, it's going to actually be slightly easier for it to not screw up. Hopefully be slightly harder for it to screw up. So let's drive the course on the first waypoint. There we go. And yes, Courseplay has in fact made a return for once. I haven't been using it on the other maps because they've had some oddly shaped fields. This does as well, actually. I don't want ridge markers. I want ridge markers set to manual. And it's... there we go. Ridge markers, by the way, they can confuse Courseplay and result in Courseplay just deciding to go over and back over fields on in an infinite loop, costing you like all of the money ever. I don't think I've got paid Courseplay workers on. In fact, I'm pretty sure I don't, because I think I just made €1 somehow. Oh no. I am paying for Courseplay, which isn't entirely a bad thing. So let's just get these bales fed into the feed mixer. Now I can kind of see why I've got so many bales. Because the feed mixer is going to take a lot of them. Or at least a sizable number. I should have fed the straw bales in there, but I can do it next time I harvest. I'm probably going to hire a square baler though, because I think the round bales are a bit too excessive. And for now we're going to keep these fields as clover and alfalfa. However, I do reserve the right to, and probably will in fact at some point, I probably will come along with a plough and get rid of them, because the amount, one of them at least, probably the alfalfa field, actually probably this one because it's slightly better, slightly less cluster screwy, shall we say, slightly easier to work with, he says as he does donuts in the skid steer. There we go. And I might just plough up this field here and turn it into some arable land instead of just land that I can get silage bales off. I know for a fact actually that it is seeding time right here, right now in Ireland, because I saw what looked to be, I'm not going to say for definite it was a Puma, but it was a case. It was either a Puma or a CVX 175 driving along with a 3-meter Amazon cedar on the back. It was actually the Amazon cedar, the same kind that was in 2013, which was amazing. And I suppose what I found a bit odd though was what was following it. behind the Case 175 with the, damn it, the seed drill on the back, there was a Volvo L70 wheel loader, and I'm not quite sure why. They wouldn't have needed the wheel loader to get seeds into the seed drill. I couldn't imagine them trying to use a wheel loader to get seeds into a seed drill. But it did have a shovel on it, so I'm presuming it was something to do with the seed drill or seeds or something like that. It was just a bit strange. It was probably what I would imagine is they were trying to get rid of some old crop and they had it piled somewhere and they needed the wheel loader for that. It's about all I can come up with, but it was just a bit odd seeing a CVX, not a CVX, but possibly a CVX actually, but a Case 175. It would have been a CVX 175, wouldn't it? Because the Puma's 160. Just gonna check now. Yeah. Yeah, it was a CVX, just looking at the shape of the Puma. So it was a CVX 175. With the seeder being chased by a Volvo L70 wheel loader for reasons that will probably forever be beyond me. So, we're actually getting quite a bit done today. For once I'm multitasking, which is nice. However, I'm going to have to go because, well, time's up, essentially. And there's plenty more baling to do, plenty more seeding to do when we come back in a couple of days' time, because we will be on, hopefully, if I remember, because I do need to get that map set up correctly. We will be on Courseplay Park tomorrow, doing the things, whatever I decide to do at Courseplay Park. I don't know, it hasn't been recorded yet because I haven't got the map set up yet. But when we come back here, we will be probably spreading NPK on our crops, as well as throwing down some water, because they will need, well actually no, we'll just throw down some some nitrogen, just nitrogen. That'll lower the pH. But I'm just looking at the growth stages. We can actually throw down nitrogen twice, because I think lime increases pH by 3 levels, and the pH naturally decreases by 1 level per growth, per entire growth cycle. So we can put down nitrogen twice over the growth cycle and get away with it, essentially. We'll also need to put down water, because they will the crops will of course take up water. We'll also need to put down some herbicide, and I'll probably use herbicide double B. That's weed prevention herbicide. And looking at my cheat sheets beside me, wheat, barley and oats all have the same requirements. They do not take herbicide. That's literally all the requirements they have. They need 5N and 4 pK to be, as well as 6 pH, 6.8 pH and moisture 57% for full yield. But in terms of herbicide, if I use anything but A, I will be fine. If I use A, there will be problems. So I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to leave you by saying the game's jammed. No, I'm going to leave you by saying I've been Rainbow Dave. You've been watching Farming Simulator 15 on the Canadian farm. Please comment, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. It is much appreciated, and you can follow me on Twitter as well if you so wish. My Twitter handle is @rainbow_Dave. because I think Rainbow Dave as one word was taken up or something. I can't remember. All I know is I can't use it at Rainbow Dave, which is annoying. Yeah, follow me on the things of the thing, and hopefully by the time this video comes out, you will have heard news on a thing that, as I'm recording this, and as I'm recording this, I'm waiting on an email about something, something related to the channel, nothing personal. I'm waiting on an email to let me know what the status of the thing is. By now you'll hopefully know by now what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, and it'll been confirmed, everything will be awesome. If not, there'll be a video out as soon as it's confirmed. As soon as I get the email and have everything set up correctly there to let you know about it. So yeah. I'm gonna leave you here, so until I see you again, either in Canada or on Cobra, stay safe and goodbye.